بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. سبح لله ما في السماوات وما في الأرض وهو العزيز الحكيم. هو الذي أخرج الذين كفروا من أهل الكتاب من ديارهم لأول الحشر ما ظننتم أن يخرجوا وظنوا أنهم مانعتهم حصونهم من الله فأتاهم الله من حيث لم يحتسبوا وقذف في قلوبهم الرعب يخربون بيوتهم بأيديهم وأيدي المؤمنين فاعتبروا يا أولي الأبصار. ولولا أن كتب الله عليهم الجلاء لعذبهم في الدنيا ولهم في الآخرة عذاب النار. ذلك بأنهم شاقوا الله ورسوله ومن يشاق الله فإن الله شديد العقاب. ما قطعتم من لينة أو تركتموها قائمة على أصولها فبإذن الله وليخزي الفاسقين. وما أفاء الله على رسوله منهم فما أوجفتم عليه من خيل ولا ركاب ولكن الله يسلط رسله على من يشاء والله على كل شيء قدير. ما أفاء الله على رسوله من أهل القرى والرسول ولذي القربى واليتامى والمساكين وابن السبيل كي لا يكون دولة بين الأغنياء منكم وما آتاكم الرسول فخذوه وما نهاكم عنه فانتهوا واتقوا الله إن الله شديد العقاب. صدق الله العلي العظيم. الفاتحة. يرحمكم الله.
Thank you, Brother Muhammad Mahdi, for that beautiful recitation. If you can now please welcome Sayyid Hani to recite for us Marsiya with the loud salawat ala Muhammad wa ala Muhammad.
Salawat. आबिदे बीमार की आँखों से खून रुकता नहीं, आबिदे बीमार की आँखों से खून रुकता नहीं, जिसको ज़ैनब के लिए, जिसको ज़ैनब के लिए पर्दा कहीं मिलता नहीं, आबिदे बीमार की आँखों से खून रुकता नहीं, आबिदे बीमार की आँखों से खून रुकता नहीं। देखो ना मेरा तमाशा, रोके आबिद ने कहा, साथ मेरे आई है होके वो कैदी बेरिदा, नंगे सर जिसको कभी, नंगे सर जिसको कभी बाबा ने भी देखा नहीं, आबिदे बीमार की आँखों से खून रुकता नहीं, आबिदे बीमार की आँखों से खून रुकता नहीं। गम न करना तू सकीना, सफ़र में ज़ैनब के साथ, सीने पे सो जाना माँ के जब भी हो जाएगी रात, लौट कर आएगा अब, लौट कर आएगा अब, बेटी तेरा बाबा नहीं, आबिदे बीमार की आँखों से खून रुकता नहीं, आबिदे बीमार की आँखों से खून रुकता नहीं। सामने आबिद لٹ گیا زہرا کا گھر کس طرح زینب کو دیکھا شام میں وہ ننگ سر ہائے کائنات میں ہائے کائنات میں صابر کوئی ایسا نہیں عابد بیمار کی آنکھوں سے خون رکتا نہیں عابد بیمار کی آنکھوں سے خون رکتا نہیں غم نہ کرنا تو سکینہ سفر میں زینب کے ساتھ سینے پہ سو جانا ماں کے جب بھی ہو جائے گی رات لوٹ کر آئے گا اب لوٹ کر آئے گا اب بیٹھی تیرا بابا نہیں عابد بیمار کی آنکھوں سے خون رکتا نہیں عابد بیمار کی آنکھوں سے خون رکتا نہیں صلوات
Thank you, Sayyid Hani, for that beautiful recitation. Before we ask Sayyid Jerry to welcome on the mimbar, just one announcement. Inshallah, we have a gala February 1st. The family tables have mostly been booked and they are being sold out very fast. We've been blessed to have a very honorary guest as well, Sheikh Hassan Rajab Ali, Brother Hassan Rajab Ali, and he's a very well-esteemed guest. Right? So inshallah, please book your tickets. This time the cuisine is different. For those who came last time, the cuisine the cuisine was bad, right? So this time we made sure to make it better, right? So we're gonna have Pakistani and Arab cuisine this time. So please book your tickets. It's gonna be a very good event this year, okay? Yeah, it's going to be very good this year, right? Not the white stuff last year. Yeah, we revamped the menu. So now back to seriousness. Now, if we can please welcome Sayyid Jerry to the mimbar with a loud salawat ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad.
رحم الله من قرأ الفاتحة بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين الرحمن الرحيم مالك يوم الدين إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين اهدنا الصراط المستقيم صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد رب اشرح لي صدري ويسر لي أمري واحلل عقدة من لساني يفقهوا قولي جزاك الله أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على أشرف الأنبياء والمرسلين سيدنا ومولانا أبي القاسم محمد اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد وعلى أهل بيته الطيبين الطاهرين المعصومين المظلومين الغر الميامين ولعنة الدائمة الباقية على أعدائهم أجمعين من الآن إلى يوم الدين أما بعد فقد قال سيدنا ومولانا أبو عبد الله الصادق عليه الصلاة والسلام إذا قال رحم الله عبدا إذا اجتمع مع الآخر فتذاكر أمرنا إلا إن ثالث ملك يستغفر لهما. صدق مولانا أبو عبد الله الصادق عليه الصلاة والسلام. صلوات على محمد وآل محمد. اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Before we start our majlis, we would like to do some du'as and supplicate in the barakah of Allah Almighty. Ya Allah, we all have gathered here with supplications that we have regarding the soul of the hereafter. We give you the blessed wasila and intercession of Muhammad wa Ali Muhammad alayhi salam. Ya Allah, please fulfill all of those hajats. Ya Allah, Rahman Hameen used to be part of these majalises. Unfortunately, they are not with us anymore. And especially, we remember our dear brother, Sayyid Rada. Unfortunately, those marhameen are not with us, Ya Allah. We ask you to forgive all of their sins. Ya Allah, we ask you further to give them the proximity of Muhammad wa al Muhammad alayhi salam. Ya Allah, we ask you further, we await for the reappearance of Imam Sahib al-Zaman. Hasten the dhuhur of Imam Sahib al-Zaman. Make us among his supporters and among his companions. And Ya Allah, allow us, and a very important dua, when we leave this world, allow us to leave this world in the state of iman and faith, inshallah. Salawat ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. Indeed, it's always a blessing to come here and talk about the affairs of Al-Muhammad alayhi salam, to talk about different things that are pertinent to the teachings of Muhammad wa Al-Muhammad alayhi salam. And indeed, we all have gathered here in order to commemorate the martyrdom anniversary of our 10th Imam, Imam Ali ibn Muhammad Al-Hadi al-Naqi alayhi salatu wassalam. And when we all have gathered here, when we all have assembled here, so before we go into the meat of the topic, before we delve into the topic, we would like to give a very basic introduction of this blessed Imam. As I can see, there are some kids that are sitting here. As I could see, there are some youth that are sitting here. So it's very important and very paramount for us to go through the basic introduction of this blessed Imam. And the knowledge that I'm going to disseminate to you or dispatch to you right now is the knowledge that you generally would get in the madaris or you generally get in schools, right? Very basic knowledge, but at the end of the day, it's a reminder for all of us. The name of the Imam is Ali. The name of the father of the Imam is Muhammad Ali ibn Muhammad Al-Hadi and Naqi alayhi salatu wassalam. Hadi and Naqi are some of his titles, some of his alqab. And when you go into his kunya is Abul Hassan. Abul Hassan is a kunya that is shared by Amir al-Mu'mineen Ali ibn Abi Talib alayhi salatu wassalam. It's a kunya that is shared by Imam Kazim. It's a kunya that is shared by Imam Rada, and it's a kunya that is shared by the 10th Imam, Imam Hadi alayhi salatu wassalam. You go into his life further. Imam was born in 212 Hijrah. Now he was born in 212 Hijrah. Now you can understand that he was born in one of the outskirts of the Medina. Just for our understanding, sometimes we say that he was born in Medina. But when you go very precisely, the Medina of that time was very small. And the outskirts of the Medina, it included areas like Awali, where Masjid al-Quba is located. So even as if you go today and you visit Medina, now Masjid al-Quba is part of the greater Medina. But when you go to the old times, that area used to be a separate part, or it used to be among the countryside of Medina. So one of the neighborhood that was developed and that was inculcated by the 7th Imam, Imam Kazim alayhi salatu wassalam, that area was called Basriya. Not so historical knowledge. Sheikh Mufid has mentioned it, Sheikh Thusi has mentioned it, and likewise our other scholars have mentioned it too. They have mentioned that Imam was born at this place which was inculcated by Imam Kazim alayhi salatu wasalam. Of course, living in Medina required that the people of the government were always watching you. So Imam Kazim wanted a secluded place in the neighborhood of Medina so that he does not go very far from the center of the city. At the same time, he is able to shield himself from the people or from the mukhabirat or from the secret people that were watching and that were trying to administer whatever the Imams of Al-Muhammad were doing. So he moved to a place which was called Basriya. This was the place where Imam Hadi alayhi salatu wasalam was born. Imam lived for around 52 years. There was a difference of opinion. What is the martyrdom year of Imam Hadi alayhi salatu wasalam? So you have two opinions here. Either he was martyred in 254 Hijrah, and another riwayah say he was martyred in 255 Hijrah. But that does not concern us a lot. At the end of the day, he was martyred on 3rd of Rajab. There is also a difference of opinion. Now, why do I go into these topics a little bit so we understand when we're going through these topics? Imam Hadi alayhi salatu wasalam, we do have a difference of opinion when he was born. We do go with a famous riwayah that is quoted to us by different scholars that says that he was born on 15th of Dhul Hajj. 15th of Dhul Hajj he was born, 212 Hijrah. But we do have a very beautiful dua from Imam Sahib al-Zaman Ajjalallahu Ta'ala Farajahu Sharif that says that Imam used to supplicate through this dua in the month of Rajab. And what would he say? Allahumma inni as'aluka bihaqqi mawludaini fi Rajab al-Murajjab. Oh Allah, I supplicate to you, I plead to you, I ask you by the mediation of the two blessed people that were born in month of Rajab. Muhammad bin Ali al-Thani wa Ali ibn Muhammad al-Muntajab. So he referred to Muhammad bin Ali, Imam Jawad alayhi salatu wassalam, wa Ali ibn Muhammad being the Imam Hadi alayhi salatu wassalam. Allahumma inni ataqarrabu ilayka bihima. Oh Allah, I seek your proximity, I seek your nearness by the wasila of these two blessed Imams. So there's a different opinion that comes in. Anyone who deems this dua as an authentic, that's why in a lot of Indo-Pak culture, in Pakistani Indian culture, you would see that we celebrate the birth anniversary of Imam Hadi alayhi salatu wasalam on 5th of Rajab. Why? Because we have this dua, and sometimes we use this dua as a basis, as a foundation to celebrate on 5th of Rajab. We move on to further. The name of the father is very obvious, of course, everyone knows. The name of the mother of Imam Hadi, and I want to give a little bit introduction about this blessed lady. Her name was Samana, Sayyida Samana, or as we say in Urdu or Farsi with respect, Samana Khatun, right? Someone, a very respected lady. And Imam Hadi alayhi salatu wasalam is quoted to have said about his mother, Ummi arifatun bihaqqi. You want to understand about my mother Samana? My mother Samana was someone who had the knowledge and understanding of my truth and merit. وَهِيَ مِنْ أَهْلِ الْجَنَّةِ. And she was amongst the dwellers and the inhabitants of the Jannah. لَا يَقْرُبُهَا شَيْطَانٌ مَارِدٌ وَلَا يُصِيبُهَا كَيْدُ جَبَّارٌ عَنِيدٌ. She was someone that the wretched, the disobedient, the rebellious shaitan was not able to approach her. The shaitan was not able to deceive her. She was someone that was protected by the punishment of Allah Almighty, by the wrath of Allah Almighty. مَكْلُوءَةٌ بِعَيْنِ اللَّهِ لَا يَنَامُ. She was someone that was shielded by the divine safety of Allah Almighty. And at the end, Mawla said, وَهِيَ لَا تَتَخَلَّفُ عَنْ أُمَّهَاتِ الصِّدِّيقِينَ وَالصَّالِحِينَ. She was someone that did not lag behind when you compare her to the mothers of the righteous and the truthful people. So, Sayyidah Samana, salamullahi alayha, at the end of the day, that's our belief. At the end of the day, that's our aqidah. At the end of the day, that's part of our creed, that we believe that all the mothers of the Imams of Al-Muhammad alayhimussalam, they were someone that were protected by the divine safety and the shield of Allah Almighty. You all understand this, right? And when you go into the political scenario, Imam was born in 212 Hijrah. Who was the ruler around that time? Was none other than Ma'mun al-Abbasi. Ma'mun al-Abbasi, he ruled till 218 Hijrah. 218 Hijrah, he passed away. After that, Mu'tasim Billah came in. Mu'tasim Billah, he ruled till 227 Hijrah. After Mu'tasim Billah, Wathiq came in. Wathiq ruled for 5 years, from 227 to 232. From 232 to 248, roughly around 16 years, a very wretched, a very wicked person came in, Mutawakkil al-Abbasi. We all know who Mutawakkil al-Abbasi was. Mutawakkil al-Abbasi, I did my research and I was trying to present a program in which I wanted to go through the history of the shrine of Aba Abdullah. And when I was going through it, I came across this information and knowledge that Mutawakkil al-Abbasi tried 4 times during his reign, during his government, in order to desecrate and damage the blessed shrine of Aba Abdullah. The blessed qabr, the blessed
place where Abu Abdullah is buried. He tried to destroy that blessed place. 4 times he tried, and all 4 times Allah protected the shrine of Abu Abdullah alayhi salatu wasalam. He tried the Nahar of the Alqama, the Euphrates River, to come all the way so that it can damage the shrine of Abu Abdullah. The water came in, but it did not overpass the grave of Abu Abdullah. So the grave of Abu Abdullah was called what? As Ha'ir, as a place where water cannot go further forward. And that's why Karbala is also known as what? Al-Ha'ir. That's why you have so many scholars that are called what? Al-Karbala'i Al-Ha'iri. Now, have you come across so many scholars that are called what? Abdul Karim Al-Ha'iri, one of the person who was responsible for building the Hawza in Qom. His name was what? Abdul Karim Al-Ha'iri. That's why, and many other scholars that call themselves Al-Ha'iri. Ha'iri is in relation to what? Ha'ir is in relation to the blessed place of Karbala, because Mutawakkil tried to desecrate the grave of Abu Abdullah, but Allah shielded the grave of Abu Abdullah. We move on to further. 248 Hijrah. Mutawakkil was killed by his own son. His name is Muntasir. Muntasir was able to rule for six months, and after that he was also killed. Musta'in came in, he ruled for 5 years. After Musta'in, Mu'taz Billah came in. Now, Mu'taz Billah is the one, according to majority of the scholars, they say Mu'taz Billah was someone who was responsible for killing. Mu'taz Billah was someone who was responsible for poisoning Imam Hadi alayhi salatu wasalam. But you have another opinion by Shaykh Suduq alayhi rahmah that says that he was not poisoned by Mu'taz Billah, he was poisoned by Mu'tamid Billah. Mu'tamid Billah came around 255 Hijrah. That's why you have difference of opinion whether he was martyred in 254 Hijrah or 255 Hijrah at the end of the day. Very important to have some basic information concerning the life of Imam Hadi. Imam Hadi had 4 sons. One of them, Imam Hassan al-Askari. The second of them was named Al-Hussein. Third of them has been Ja'far, the Ja'far that came against Imam Sahib al-Zaman Ajjalallahu ta'ala farajahu sharif. The fourth one, his name is Muhammad, as we call him as what? As-Sayyid Muhammad. When you go to Balad, people that visit Iraq, people that visit those blessed places, when they want to move, when they want to go for the journey to Samarra, before they would go to Samarra, they would visit Balad first. What is Balad? In Balad, you have the blessed shrine of Sayyid Muhammad, right? A person who is so respected that even if you have so many supplications to Allah Almighty, you ask Him by His wasila, and Allah is going to grant you whatever you wish. Such a blessed, such an amazing personality. And my sisters are listening to, my brothers are listening to, anyone who has some problem regarding their marriage, anyone who has a problem, Allah is not bestowing them with the child. You can go to shrine of Sayyid Muhammad. You can go to any shrine for that matter. But Sayyid Muhammad alayhi rahmah, you go to his shrine, you make the mannat to Allah Almighty, and inshallah Allah is going to bestow you with the children, inshallah. We move on further. Being Imam Hadi, we're discussing about the history of Imam Hadi alayhi salatu wasalam. That was a very basic introduction I wanted all of you to have. Now we will go into the meat of the chapter, meat of the taqreer, or the meat of the discussion that we wanted to do today, and that concerns the remembrance of Al-Muhammad alayhi salam. Imam Ali ibn Muhammad al-Hadi, being the protector, being the caller towards the wilaya of Muhammad wa al-Muhammad alayhi salam. That's going to be our topic, inshallah. But before we go into the meat of the topic, we want to remind ourselves how important it is for us to have these gatherings of remembrance. How important it is for us to gather, to convene, to have these assemblies, to have these majalis in which we try to revive the affairs of Muhammad wa al-Muhammad alayhi salam. We do have a very beautiful riwayah from the 6th Imam. The narrator is Dawood ibn Sarhan. He came in. Now see the way Imam communicates his message. Imam says, Ya Dawood, abligh mawali anni salam. O Dawood, convey to the people that have genuine love of us, convey and dispatch my salutations and salams upon them. Wa ablighum, and convey to them, rahimallahu abdan. May Allah have His blessings and mercy upon that person. إذا اجتمعا مع الآخر. Whenever he gathers with another person, what does he do? فتذاكر أمرنا. He remembers our affairs. إلا إن ثالثا ملك يستغفر لهما. But the third person is who? So imagine two people that are discussing about the affairs of Muhammad wa Ali Muhammad. Two people that are discussing the merits and the virtues of Muhammad wa Ali Muhammad. Two people are discussing about the teachings of Muhammad wa Ali Muhammad. The third person is going to be the angel that would be asking Allah Almighty for the forgiveness and for the pardoning of those two people. وَمَا اجْتَمَعَانِ إِثْنَانِ عَلَى ذِكْرِنَا إِلَّا يُبَاهِي اللَّهُ بِهِمَا عَلَى الْمَلَائِكَةِ. Subhanallah. Two people, when they convene and when they do our remembrance, Allah Almighty rejoices proudly in front of the angels because of those two believers. فَإِذَا اجْتَمَعْتُمْ فَانْشَغِلُوا بِالذِّكْرِ. Whenever you assemble, whenever you gather, remember us. فَإِنَّا فِي اجْتِمَاعِكُمْ وَمُذَاكِرَاتِكُمْ إِحْيَاءُ أَمْرَنَا. Remember, whenever you gather and subsequently you remember us, that's going to fortify, that's going to strengthen, that's going to revive our affairs. وَخَيْرُ النَّاسِ مِنْ بَعْدِنَا مَنْ ذَاكَرَ بِأَمْرِنَا وَدَعَا إِلَى ذِكْرِنَا. What a beautiful riwayah. It says the best of the people, the most eminent of the people after us, Muhammad wa al Muhammad, are whom? Are those people that do our remembrance and that call people towards our affairs. So these gatherings that you're having right now, that's not a customary gathering that you need to have it. This is something that is divinely given, a divine command from Muhammad wa al Muhammad alayhi wassalam, that you all gather here and you discuss about our affairs. One point. Second point, that's not only about the saying of Al-Muhammad alayhi wasallam, that is even something that is ordained to us by the Tabi'een, by the blessed scholars that we have. And one of the scholars that I want to quote, why I'm quoting him, this riwayah is there in Tafsir Furat al-Kufi. Why I am quoting this scholar, Sa'id ibn Jubayr. Sa'id ibn Jubayr is who? He is someone that is equally respected by both Sunnis and Shi'as. He says a very important line. I want all of you to focus here. But before I do so, I want to give a very small introduction. When you come for the Salatul Jum'ah, and when you recite Suratul Jum'ah, you come across this ayah. يا أيها الذين آمنوا إذا نودي للصلاة من يوم الجمعة فاسعوا إلى ذكر الله وذروا البيع ذلكم خير لكم إن كنتم تعلمون. That all the people who have believed, when the call for the prayers is made on the day of the gathering, the day of Friday, hasten to the remembrance of Allah Almighty and abandon and quit whatever commerce and trade that you are doing. Indeed, it is better for you, even if you would understand what Allah wants to convey. So we understand when the people are being called towards the remembrance of Allah Almighty, it's not only that for them to go towards it. The ayah says, فَاسْعَوْا إِلَى ذِكْرِ اللَّهِ, that you run towards, you become very hasty towards the remembrance of Allah Almighty. Now the explicit meaning of the Quran, or the zahir meaning of Quran, it refers to Salatul Jum'ah. It refers to the Friday prayers. But now Sa'id ibn Jubair wants us to understand the implicit, the batini meaning of this ayah. He says, مَا خَلَقَ اللَّهُ تَبَارَكَ وَتَعَالَى خَلْقًا أَفْضَلَ مِنْ عَلِيِّ بْنِ أَبِي طَالِبٍ بَعْدَ رَسُولِ اللَّهِ. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ala Muhammad. Allah has not created a creation which is better than Ali ibn Abi Talib other than Prophet sallallahu alayhi wa alihi wa sallam. وَذَلِكَ قَوْلُ اللَّهُ عَزَّ وَجَلَّ. And Ali ibn Abi Talib is referred in this ayah of Surah Al-Jum'ah when Allah says, فَاسْعَوْا إِلَىٰ ذِكْرِ اللَّهِ, that run towards the remembrance of Allah Almighty. ذِكْرُ اللَّهِ وِلَايَةُ عَلِيِّ ibn Abi Talib. The remembrance of Allah Almighty refers to the wilayah of Ali ibn Abi Talib alayhi salatu wasalam. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. You're following me? How important. Now, when the remembrance of Muhammad wa ali Muhammad would come in, it's not even a choice. It's wajib, but it's not even a normal wajib. It is something that you have to run towards the remembrance of Muhammad wa ali Muhammad alayhi wassalam. With this thing in our mind, we want to reflect upon the way Imam Ali ibn Muhammad Al-Hadi has defended the wilayah of Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. And one of the beautiful ziyarah, I remember 2 years back when I came in, I elucidated and explained this in a little bit more details. So of course I'm not going to repeat the same details, but a very important reminder for all of us. There are some ziyarahs that are exclusive for certain imams. Ziyarat of Arba'in, you would only recite for whom? For Abu Abdullah. Ziyarat of Ashura, you would only recite for whom? For Abu Abdullah. Ziyarat of Al-Yasin, you're only going to recite for whom? The Imam of your time, Imam Sahibul Zaman. But there are certain ziyarahs that you can recite for any Imams of Al-Muhammad alayhi salam. One of them is ziyarat of Aminullah. Now ziyarat of Aminullah, if you change certain wordings, you can recite it for any Imam of Al-Muhammad alayhi salam. You just have to make rectification. You just have to change certain wordings. Like instead of saying Assalamu alaikum Amir al-Mu'mineen when you are there at the grave of Imam Hassan or you're there at the grave of Abu Abdullah, you would refer to them by their kunya, you would refer to them by their title, and you would move on to further. So this is one type of the ziyarah that can be recited for any Imam. Likewise, there is another ziyarah that is given to that is a gift to you, that is being bestowed to you by Imam Ali ibn Muhammad Al-Hadi, and that ziyarah is called Ziyaratul Jami'ah. Ziyaratul Jami'ah can be recited for any Imam wherever you go. If you want to give your salutations, if you want to manifest your love and affection, if you want to say your salam and salawat, and you don't have any understanding which ziyarah to use, recite Ziyaratul Jami'ah. And who has given this blessed ziyarah? It is Imam Ali ibn Muhammad Al-Hadi alayhi salatu wassalam. Sheikh Sudu quotes, the narrator came in and narrator had the discussion. Mawla, give me a ziyarah. Give me a saying that whenever I visit one of you, I can recite for any one of them. And the divine gift that the Imam gives us is Ziyaratul Jami'ah. So I want to quote two passages, and I want us to understand, you have relationship with the Imams of Al-Muhammad, but very important for you to understand how should you refer to them, how should you talk to them, how should your etiquettes be with them when you are trying to address them, when you want to be direct with them. How should you refer to the Imams of Al-Muhammad alayhi salam? So inshallah, these two passages are going to help us inshallah here and inshallah hereafter too. Now see the beautiful way Imam Hadi alayhi salatu wasalam teaches us to refer to our Imam. Bi-abi anta wa ummi wa ahli wa mali wa usrati. May my father be ransom upon you, O Al-Muhammad. May my mother be ransom upon you. May my kin be ransom upon you. May my provision and the belongings be ransom upon you. And may my whole family be ransom upon you, O the Imams of Al-Muhammad alayhi salam. Ushhidullaha wa ushhidakum. I bear Allah Almighty as my witness, and I bear you all, Al-Muhammad alayhi salam, as my witness. Anni mu'minun bikum wa bima amantum. I believe in you, I have certitude in you and in whatever you believe. Wa kafirun ba'aduwikum wa bima kafartum. And I reject all of your enemies, and I reject everything that Imams of Al-Muhammad alayhi salam rejects. Mustabsirun bishanikum wa bidhalalati man khalafakum. I thank Allah Almighty. I'm grateful to Allah Almighty that He has given me the understanding of the holy status that He has bestowed upon you. I also have the understanding of the deviancy of the people that came against you. Muwali lakum wali awliyaikum. I am completely loyal to you, O Al-Muhammad alayhi salam. I am completely loyal to those people that are loyal to you, O Al-Muhammad alayhi salam. Mubghadun li'a'daikum wa mu'adin lahum. I have nothing for your enemy but animosity and hatred, and I am the enemy of your enemy, O Al-Muhammad alayhi salam. Silmun liman salamakum wa harbun liman harabakum. I am at peace with those that you are at peace with, O Al-Muhammad. I am at war against that wage war against you, Al-Muhammad alayhi salam. Muhakkikun lima hakaktum wa mubtilun lima abtaltum. I have nothing of my own personal. I only testify that information, O Al-Muhammad, that you have testified. And I treat that information as a lie and fabricated that you have falsified and said it fabricated. See the way you have to. Allah is teaching you, and Allah is teaching you through Imams of Al-Muhammad alayhi salam, that if you want to have the conversation with these blessed Imams, there is a certain way that you should proclaim your love that you have for these blessed Imams. Very important to have this understanding. And as much as we repeat in different majalises the merits and the virtues of Muhammad wa Ali Muhammad, there is nothing which is more important in terms of Aqidah, after Tawheed, after the Nabuwa, than the Imama of Al-Muhammad alayhi salam. Man mata walam ya'rif imama zamanihi ma'ata mi'tatan jahiliya. This is something that you would have profusely in the books of Shias and Sunni both. In Al-Kafi, Imam Sadiq is reported to have said, anyone who passes away, but he passes away in a way that he did not recognize the Imam of the time, indeed he has died the dying of the Jahiliyyah, the ignorance and disbelief. Very important to understand the maqam and the virtues and the status of Al-Muhammad alayhi salam. This was one passage, and the second passage that I'm going to quote, and inshallah we will move on to the musibah part. And before we move on to the musibah part, I was being requested by the management to hear. We'll start the musibah in English and then end it in Urdu too, inshallah, so people are sitting here. Both groups of the people can do the right istifada and can take advantage of it. Let's move on to the second passage. Again, بِأَبِي أَنْتُمْ وَأُمِّي وَنَفْسِي وَمَالِي وَأَهْلِي. You know, one homework, and I always give homework. People that have listened to my majalis, they would always have a homework to look after. But unfortunately, I would not grade you for that homework, of course, right? No grade or nothing. That is only for your spiritual benefit. That is only for your own religious benefit. Go through the whole ziyarah of Jami'ah and go through the translation of Ziyaratul Jami'ah. Duas.org, you have the translation, and it's very beautiful. Ziyaratul Jami'ah, very nice. May my father be ransom upon you, my mother be ransom upon you, myself be ransom upon you, my mal, my provision be ransom upon you, my family be ransom upon you. Man arad Allah bada'a bikum. If anyone intends Allah Almighty, now please, I want everyone to focus upon this blessed passage in which Imam is describing the status of Muhammad wa Ali Muhammad. Man arad Allah bada'a bikum. If anyone intends Allah Almighty, he cannot intend Allah Almighty unless or until he initiates with Muhammad wa Ali Muhammad. Man wahadahu qabila ankum. Anyone who believes in the wahda of Allah Almighty, anyone who believes in the tawheed of Allah Almighty, anyone who believes in the unity of Allah Almighty, he cannot have complete faith in the unity of Allah Almighty unless or until he does not accept from Muhammad wa al Muhammad. وَمَنْ تَوَجَّهُ قَصَدَهُ تَوَجَّهَ إِلَيْكُمْ. Anyone who wants proximity towards Allah Almighty, he cannot have the proximity towards Allah unless or until he has the proximity towards Muhammad wa al Muhammad. Mawali لا أحصي ثناءكم ولا أبلغ من المدح كنهكم ومن الوصف قدركم. O Al Muhammad alayhi salam, it is impossible for me to count the virtues that Allah has bestowed upon you. It is impossible for me to look and try to find the description of the merits and virtues and the fada'il that Allah has conferred upon you. Antum nurul akhyar wa hudatul abrar wa hujajul jabbar. If there is any light for the pious people, it is none other than Muhammad wa ali Muhammad alayhi salam. If there is a guide for the righteous people, they are Muhammad wa ali Muhammad alayhi salam. If Allah has made someone as hujjah, as authority and as a proof of him onto the ground or on the earth, it is none other than Muhammad wa ali Muhammad alayhi salam. Bikum fatah Allah wa bikum yakhtim. If Allah wants to initiate something, He initiates it by your wasila. If Allah wants to put an end to something, He puts an end to that thing by your wasila. Bikum yunazzilul ghayz. If Allah wants to descend the water from the heavens onto the earth, He does it through the mediation of Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. Bikum yumsiku as-samaa an taqa ala al-ardi illa bi-idhnih. And indeed, of Allah has withhold the heavens that they do not fall upon the earth. It is because of the wasila of Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. Bikum yukshifu al-dhar wa yunaffisu al-ham. If Allah wants to dispel the grief, He does it through the wasila of Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. If Allah wants to relieve someone from the hardship, Allah relieves them from the hardship by the wasila of Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. O al Muhammad alayhi salam, Allah has given you everything that He has given to the angels and the prophets before you. And Allah has given you certain merits that Allah has not given to either angel or any of the prophets. Who has given you and who has blessed you with this beautiful dua? Imam Ali ibn Muhammad Al-Hadi alayhi salatu wassalam. Salawat ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. Indeed, when you reflect upon the life of Imam, 212 Hijrah, he was born. He was someone that disseminated the knowledge. He was someone that communicated the knowledge. And around this time, in 233 Hijrah, I want all of you to focus here. Historical knowledge. 233 Hijrah, Mutawakkil writes to his governor or to the person who was supposed to execute his command, Yahya bin Harthama. He commands Yahya bin Harthama to go and forcefully ask Imam Hadi to make his journey from Medina to Samarra. 233 Hijrah. What is the age of the Imam? His age is only 21 years old. 21 years old. The rulers of the time were not able to withhold. The rulers of the time were not able to face. The rulers of the time were not able to confront the knowledge of the Imam. So they forced Imam to make a journey from where? From Medina to Samarra. Now when I reflect upon the journey that Imam Hadi alayhi salatu wassalam has to make, sometimes my mind goes to the journeys that different Imams of Al-Muhammad have taken from Medina to different places. And one of the Imams that I would always remember is none other than Imam Musa bin Ja'far. When Imam Musa bin Ja'far was being forced, he was praying in the mosque of the Prophet. And as he was praying in the mosque of the Prophet, the people came in. The government forces came in. They forced Imam Kazim to make a journey. And he was not even able to meet his sisters, his family members in Medina. And then he started his journey from there. Likewise, Imam Hadi, when he had to make a journey, he had a very selected time, a very, very short time period that he had to say goodbye to the family members and to those women and the children that wanted to be with him, but they were not with him. That was first occasion that my mind goes towards. And the second occasion that my mind goes towards is none other than Gharib al-Ghuraba, Shaheed al-Shahadat, Qatil al-Ad'iyya, Abu Abdullah alayhi salatu wassalam. You remember when Abu Abdullah went onto the shrine of the Prophet, when he went to the blessed grave of the Prophet, and he went for a little nap, he went for a little sleep. He saw in the dream Prophet coming in. Now Prophet was not alone. Fatima al-Zahra is with the Prophet. Amir al-Mu'mineen is with the Prophet. Imam Hassan is with the Prophet. And as they approach Abu Abdullah, Prophet said something. Prophet said, Ya Hussein, كأني أراك مذبوحا مقتولا بأرض يقال له كرب وبلاء. Oh Hussein, I am looking towards you and I see you onto the plains of Karbala, and I see you that you are being killed and mutilated and slaughtered. And then as Rasulullah was passing, Rasulullah said another important line, that oh Hussein, it's not only you that you have to go through the trial, it's also your sister Zainab Kulthum that had to go through the trial, and that had to go from Karbala to Kufa, from Kufa to Sham, and from Sham to Karbala, and Karbala to Medina. Imam Ali ibn Muhammad Al-Hadi makes a journey, my dear brothers and sisters. When he reaches Samarra, Mutawakkil does not allow him to come and meet him for 3 days, and he had to wait at a very wretched place that was called Khamsa Alik. I say to my Mawla, you had to go through so much difficulty, my Mawla, but you were given the water, you were under the shade, Mawla. But when the blessed family of Abu Abdullah was making journey from Kufa to Sham, from Karbala to Kufa, whichever manzil, whatever resting place they would go, the wretched army would go into their tents, and they would have their animals inside the tent. They would drink the water and they would satiate their own animals. But the family of Abu Abdullah would not be under the shade, would not be under the tent. They would be directly under the sun, very thirsty. As Adarobas reflect karte hain, we go back and we reflect upon the tragedy that befell upon Imam Hadi alayhi salatu wasalam. Within these, one of the nights he was given the poison, and when he was given the poison, the sunnah has always been this, the tradition has always been this: when the Imams of Al-Muhammad are being poisoned, sometimes their face would turn yellow, sometimes their face would turn black, sometimes their face would turn green, because of the difficulty that they would have to go through. We also remember in these nights Imam Hadi was given the poison, and as he was being poisoned, within few nights he gave the departure and he left this world. And as he left this world, he was facing the Qibla. Imam Hassan al-Askari was next to him, and within these hours Imam Hadi alayhi salatu wasalam left. But I say it with so much ihtiram. मैं मौला से कहता हूँ, मौला जब आपका दम निकल रहा था, उस वक्त आपके बराबर में इमाम हसन अल-अस्करी मौजूद थे. मैं उस मंजर को सोचता हूँ जब आपके जद करबला की जमीन पर थे, शिमर आगे बढ़ता है, मौला के सीने पे सवार होता है, मौला की दाढ़ी को पकड़ता है, अपने पाँव से अमामे को दूर करता है, मौला के चेहरे को पीछे करता है. मौला आपके बराबर में चौथे इमाम न थे, शायद मुझे मौला जवाब दे. ए पढ़ने वाले, मेरी माँ मौजूद थी जो एक जुमला कह रही थी, ए शिमर मेरे बच्चे को कत्ल ना कर, मैंने चक्कियाँ पीस पीस के अपने बच्चे को पाला है. अज़ादारों, बस मैं आखिरी जुमले अर्ज कर रहा हूँ. जब मौला की शहादत होती है, अब जो अज़ादार देखते हैं, इमाम हसन अल-अस्करी घर से बरामद हुए हैं, इमाम की आस्तीने ऊपर है, अमामा उतारा हुआ है, गिरेबान को चाक किया हुआ है. भाई इमाम वक्त की शहादत हुई है. अज़ादारों, इमाम हादी की शहादत पर इमाम हसन अस्करी इतने गम कुना थे. अब जनाजा तैयार होता है, गुस्लो कफन दिया जाता है. अज़ादारों, अब जो जनाजे को तैयार करके उठाया जा रहा होगा, मेरा दिल ये कहता है शायद जनाजे से मौला आवाज देते हो कि हाय रे मेरा जनाजा बड़े धूमधाम से उठाया गया, हाय रे जद हुसैन 3 दिन बेगौरो कफन. ماتم حسین، ماتم امام.
حسین یا حسین، وہ زینب و کلثوم تھی، وہ زینب و کلثوم تھی، چادر سے جو محروم تھی، چادر سے جو محروم تھی، نامحرموں کے درمیان، نامحرموں کے درمیان، اور مصطفیٰ کی بیٹیاں، مولا حق امام یا حسن یا حسین یا حسین یا حسین، مولا حق امام یا حسن یا حسین یا حسین یا حسین، رو کر کہے قاسم کی ماں، رو کر کہے قاسم کی ماں، مارا گیا قاسم جوان، مارا گیا قاسم جوان، اے لال میں ڈھونڈوں کہاں، اے لال میں ڈھونڈوں کہاں، مہندی تیری صحرا تیرا، مولا حق امام یا حسن یا حسین یا حسین یا حسین، مولا حق امام یا حسن یا حسین یا حسین یا حسین، وہ با وفا عباس تھا، وہ با وفا عباس تھا، دکھیوں کی جو ایک آس تھا، دکھیوں کی جو ایک آس تھا، پانی لیا پر نہ پیا، پانی لیا پر نہ پیا، پیاسی رہی سیدانیاں، مولا حق امام یا حسن یا حسین یا حسین یا حسین، مولا حق امام یا حسن یا حسین یا حسین یا حسین، پیاسے گلے خنجر چلے، پیاسے گلے خنجر چلے، چادر چھنی خیمے جلے، چادر چھنی خیمے جلے، عباس کے پرچم تلے، عباس کے پرچم تلے، روتی رہیں سب بیبیاں، مولا حق امام یا حسن یا حسین या हुसैन या हुसैन मौला हक इमाम या हसन या हुसैन या हुसैन या हुसैन शाम गरीबां छा गई शाम गरीबां छा गई आबिद को गैरत खा गई आबिद को गैरत खा गई पहरे पे ज़ैनब आ गई पहरे पे ज़ैनब आ गई अब्बास और अकबर कहाँ मौला हक इमाम या हसन या हुसैन या हुसैन या हुसैन
या हुसैन या हुसैन या हुसैन या हुसैन میروم منزل منزل تا حرم وادی وادی میروم منزل منزل تا حرم وادی وادی سامرایی شده این دل در هوایت یا هادی سامرایی شده این دل در هوایت یا هادی مانده دل در حسرت تو در هوای صحبت تو جان فدای غربت تو مانده دل در حسرت تو در هوای صحبت تو جان فدای غربت تو سیدی مولا یا هادی سیدی مولا یا هادی سیدی ماشاءالله هادی سیدی سیدی مولا یا هادی سیدی مولا دی یاد تو در جان من یاد تو در جان من تا ابد باشد قرین یاد تو در جان من تا ابد باشد قرین انفسکم فی النفوس ذکرکم فی الذاکرین انفسکم فی النفوس ذکرکم فی الذاکرین روشن از نور تو عالم دل به پیمان تو محکم انتم الصراط الاقوم روشن از نور تو عالم دل به پیمان تو محکم انتم الصراط الاقوم سیدی مولا یا هادی سیدی مولا یا هادی سیدی مولا یا هادی سیدی مولا سیدی مولا یا هادی سیدی هادی مرگ تو دشمن میخواست با حصار و با زندان مرگ تو دشمن میخواست با حصار و با زندان آنچنان که مشتی خار ره ببندد بر طوفان آنچنان که مشتی خار ره ببندد بر طوفان خصم اگر ایمان ندارد طاقت طوفان ندارد راه تو پایان ندارد خصم اگر ایمان ندارد طاقت طوفان ندارد راه تو پایان ندارد یا ابوالحسن یا هادی یا ابوالحسن یا هادی یا ابوالحسن یا هادی یا ابوالحسن یا هادی یا یا ابوالحسن یا هادی در دفاع از خانه‌ات جان خود را می بازیم در دفاع از خانه‌ات جان خود را می بازیم شهر زیبایت را باز با دل خود می سازیم شهر زیبایت را باز با دل خود می سازیم جان اگر از تن برآید بر لبش نام تو دارد یا علی ابن محمد جان اگر از تن برآید بر لبش نام تو دارد یا علی ابن محمد یا ابوالحسن یا هادی یا ابوالحسن یا ابوالهادی یا ابوالحسن یا هادی یا ابوالحسن هادی یا ابوالحسن یا هادی حسین 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 یا حیدر 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 حیدر یا زهرا 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 یا حسن یا حسن یا حسن یا حسن یا حسن یا حسن یا زینب یا زینب یا زینب یا زینب نه ماشاءالله یا زینب 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 زینب یا عباس یا عباس یا عباس عباس یا عباس یا عباس یا عباس عباس يا حجة ابن الحسن أجل على ظهورك يا حجة ابن الحسن على ظهورك يا حجة ابن الحسن أجل على ظهورك يا حجة ابن الحسن أجل على ظهورك يا حجة ابن الحسن أجل على ظهورك يا حجة ابن الحسن صلى الله عليك يا أبا عبد الله يا مظلوم يا أبا عبد الله اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد وعجل فرجهم السلام عليك يا أبا عبد الله وعلى الأرواح التي خلت بفنائك عليك مني سلام الله أبدا ما بقيت وبقي الليل والنهار ولا جعله الله آخر العهد مني لزيارتكم السلام على الحسين وعلى علي وعلى أولاد الحسين وعلى أصحاب الحسين جميعا ورحمة الله وبركاته اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد وعجل فرجهم الحمد لله رب العالمين اللهم كل وليك الحجة ابن الحسن فيها طويلة برحمتك يا أرحم الراحمين يا الله 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 يا رحمن يا رحيم يا مقلب القلوب ثبت قلوبنا على دينك واكفنا يا قاضي الحاجات ويا كافي المهمات إنك مجيب الدعوات إنك على كل شيء قدير رحم الله من قرأ الفاتحة والإخلاص مع الصلوات بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين